Welcome back to Handmade Happy Hour. Today I've got 8 Halloween candy ideas to share with you. I'm starting with this Dollar Tree candy bouquet. I'm using one of those candy jars that they have. These are those plastic jars, and this is a footed one. I'm just putting some white chalk paint everywhere that I'm going to do my napkin decoupage. I'm separating the plies of the napkin, so I'm only using that top printed ply, and then I'm adding my Mod Podge directly over that dried chalk paint, and then adding my napkin. I'm using my fingers to smooth that out and adding a little bit more Mod Podge here and there to continue to wrap that napkin. I am going to have to piece this napkin together on the back side, and this technique works best with all over print napkins. You don't want to use like a plaid or something that you have to line up perfectly. You can see I'm just adding some Mod Podge to the inside and wrapping that to the inside. That just sort of finishes it off nicely. It's going to have candy and shred and stuff like that in there, but you could have that lip be plain if you wanted to. I personally like having it wrapping to the inside. So I'm adding a little foam cube there. That's from Dollar Tree also, and some of this fun shred. I'm just hot gluing some of that to the top. Then I'm going to hot glue some skewers. These are those Dollar Tree skewers from the kitchen section. I'm hot gluing those to my candy. Look how cute that turns out. Next, I'm going to make a jumbo candy filled with candy using soda bottles. I grabbed these Sprites, of course we drank them, and I'm going to cut off the top of each one. And I'm just going to trim that up just so I don't have any rough edges there. And I washed it out thoroughly, dried it out. I did the best I could to get the label off. So one of them I cut a plain circle at the top, and the other one I'm going to cut these slits down it. That's going to give it some flexibility so that it will slide into the other one. You can see those slits there and how flexible that makes that. All right, now we're going to add some shred to the corner and then just fill it up with whatever you want. I'm doing candy, but of course you could do little hair ties and bath treats, whatever you want. Just go ahead and fill up that space, and then you're going to pinch the two together. You're going to just twist it until it's all completely together. Next, I want to wrap it with some paper. So I'm going to just do a little measurement there. I'm going to have to piece this paper together. This is a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, but I'm going to piece it together, and just with a little tape. You could use glue stick. You don't want to glue this or Mod Podge this to your bottles, or else it won't open. This is kind of like a Christmas cracker, if you know what I mean. So we're just going to tape that down. It's like a giant Christmas cracker, I should say. And now I'm going to wrap it with some cello. I found this orange cello. I believe this was Dollar Tree also. If not, it might have been Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to place my big giant candy piece right in the center, and then I'll wrap that around it, taping it, and then just wrapping it and securing it on the back side. From here, you can finish it off lots of different ways. I'm going to tie ribbons to the ends. I think this is so adorable. My kids loved getting these. Look how cute. All right, next up, I've got another fun project to share with you. This is a fake bubblegum machine using a glass from Dollar Tree and a small pot and saucer from Home Depot, but you can grab these at Dollar Tree also. So we're going to do napkin decoupage on this. The first thing I'm going to do is paint that with the white chalk paint. And the reason why I paint all these projects white first is so that the colors of the napkin really pop through. So we're going to paint the base of the saucer, the bottom, and we're going to paint our little pot. I'm only using the top printed ply of the napkin, and you can see that I've just sort of gone in and trimmed up the napkin to make it fit. I'm going to add some Mod Podge to that pot. The pot is the base, so you want to make sure that your napkin's going in the right direction. The pot will be upside down when you have it displayed. So I'm just wrapping that napkin around. You could do this with fabric as well, but you could also just paint this any way that you want to. This idea works lots of different ways. It's just really cute on a counter. I don't know, it's a fun way to add some sort of whimsy. You can fill it up with candy or peanuts, whatever you want. So I am wrapping the napkin to the top there, and I'm just going to trim that off and go ahead and Mod Podge that to the inside. You want to make sure you Mod Podge it to the inside because that little lip area is going to show. That's going to be the part that is down on the table, but you don't want it to just end there. Now, I'm not adding a lot of frills to this, but you could add ribbons, gems, more embellishments. And I'm going to do the same technique with the saucer. This is going to be the lid of our little fake gumball machine. So let's napkin decoupage the top there. And again, I'm just using the brush and my fingers to smooth all of that out. So I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. And once it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and trim away the extra, and then I'm going to glue the rest of it to the inside of the lid. So this is the saucer, and like I said earlier, we're doing all of the work on the bottom because the bottom's what's going to show. And I am going to just finish off that inside because you're going to be taking this little lid off, so we want it to look nice and polished. So I'm just piecing together some little napkin pieces there. Next, I'm just going to glue on a little embellishments and glue the whole thing together. So I'm adding some hot glue. I'm going to glue my little cup from Dollar Tree that is plastic, not glass, and a little pumpkin to the top. And then you're ready to just fill it with your favorite candy and then add a bow. Again, you can really decorate these however you want. You could glue little spiders to it, and then you're ready to just put the lid on. How cute and simple is that? So fun. All right, next up is a giant candy lollipop. This is another Dollar Tree project using the Dollar Tree broom handle and one of their party trays. First, I want to decorate my broom handle, so I'm going to wrap this sort of caution tape, Halloween caution tape, around the broom handle. This is just an extra step. You don't actually have to do that, but I wanted to have a little decoration there. Now I'm going to tape my broom handle to the back of the party tray. I chose purple because, I don't know, it seemed like a pretty good color for Halloween. So we're going to give it some tape, and I'm going to tape it in a couple of different directions, although our candy and things that we'll be filling this giant lollipop with are pretty lightweight. So now I'm going to work on the inside, that's the lip side, to get all of our candy attached. You can use foam, squares like these, you could use tape. I don't really recommend hot glue here because it's hard to peel up off of the plastic tray. It might melt the plastic tray. So I'm going with the foam squares. I'm going to put my small candies down first, fill in with some of my big stuff, and then I'll go in and fill in with more of my small candy. I love these funny Google eyes, or spooky eyes I should call them. So I'm going to glue some of those down, and of course a card. And then I'm just using one of those basket wraps to sort of finish it off and make it look like a lollipop. So let's put that on there. This will also hold everything in case something were to come loose. So we'll wrap that around there, gather it up. Now we have our lollipop shape. I'm going to go ahead and twist that off. You can add a bow there. And then to the back side, I'm just going to take that and wrap my little tails, those little corner pieces, to the back and tape those down. That'll just give it more of a rounded shape and kind of make it look a little bit more finished. I love these bags for doing gift baskets, but they work for so many different types of projects. Now I've got some curly ribbon from Dollar Tree and this cute purple ribbon. I'm going to make a little bow, just kind of tying that on, and then I will tie that to the base of our lollipop, and that will secure the bag wrap on there, but it will also make a cute little decoration. Let's go ahead and get that on. This is really easy. You can customize this for any holiday. This is so cute to do for birthdays too. I'm just doing all Halloween today. All right, let's start with our next project. This is going to be napkin decoupage again, but this is on one of those little plastic candy jars that Dollar Tree has. I love these jars. So you know the drill. I'm going to paint it with the white chalk paint first, but I'm only painting it where I'm going to put the napkin down. So I'm just going to do a coat of the white. If you had some peekaboos, you might want to do 2 coats. And again, the reason why I'm painting it white is so that all of the colors of the napkin pop through. This is just water. I'm going around the motif on the napkin with water and a paintbrush, and then I'm tearing it to get a feathered edge, and that's going to help it blend into the canister better. So I've added some Mod Podge. I'm going to mist this napkin with a little water, and we'll add it straight onto our project and get that smoothed into position. Just using my fingers there. You could go in with a brush also. I'm kind of tapping down. The water helps with wrinkles. Once it's dry, I wanted to glitter this, and so I'm just going to bounce around the design. You could go in with a detail paintbrush as well. This is just with some Mod Podge, and then I'm going to use a white crystally glitter. So I'm just applying it all along the edges and on the insides, and then I'm just sprinkling the glitter right on top and then tapping off the extra as I go. Of course, you're going to let that thoroughly dry. Then I want to add a little bit of an embellishment. This is our lid here, and I'm just going to glue down a fun gem there. Then you can just fill this up with whatever candy you want. This is so cute if you're doing a Halloween party and you want to put out a little candy bar or something like that. All right, let's move on to our next project. This is a Beetlejuice inspired candy bouquet. A friend of ours was in the Beetlejuice play, so I made this for him. I found this old Beetlejuice box from a sign that I had ordered for our movie room, and so I had saved it thinking I'm going to cut this up someday, and here it is. I'm cutting up this box and recycling it into a candy bouquet for our family friend who starred in the Beetlejuice play. So I'm just hot gluing all of those elements to the candy bucket. That's one of those Dollar Tree candy buckets. And I'm going to add some little picks. You can see I'm decorating the bamboo skewer with a straw. And then it's as easy as just adding some foam and tissue. I'm going to add some more skewers to our candy boxes. All of this candy was Dollar Tree. And then all you have to do is assemble your basket. It's so cute and easy. I love this upcycle. All right, let's make some mini cauldron candy buckets. These are always at Dollar Tree. Sometimes they're pumpkins, sometimes they're cauldrons. I'm going to just make a mark there and cut out some of the craft foam to go inside of it. And you want to do this before you do the Mod Podge and glittering because it does get a little flaky. And I'm going to go in and just paint over. There's some like raised flames there. So I'm just painting over those raised flames, sprinkling a little bit of the glitter on top. And then I'm just going to do that all the way around it, and I'm doing them for all of them. This would be such a cute little party favor. I'm going to add some of our shred, that's Dollar Tree shred, and then a little bow to the lollipops and stick those in. I think these lollipops were Walmart. They were like a pack of 24 for about $5. So cute. All right, now let's make our cheesecloth mummy candy bucket. We're going to do another one of those candy buckets. I love these buckets because they're so inexpensive. Let's add some Google eyes, and then we're going to add cheesecloth. I'm going to add some Mod Podge to the cheesecloth and just sort of work that in our fingers and start gluing that down just by wrapping it and twisting it. This is a little bit messy, but it's okay. You want that sort of messy look. Add a little bit more Mod Podge and just kind of saturate the cheesecloth. Now I've seen this cheesecloth in different colors now, sometimes in dark colors and things. So you can do this technique for mummies like this with the white cheesecloth, or if you wanted to do like a old school mummy, like, you know, that sort of dusty gray, you could do that too. I just love working with it, and it really glues so cool with the Mod Podge. You can see it's got a really lot of texture. So I'm just going to wrap it past those eyes. And once this is all dry, you can fill this with anything. I'm filling it with that Dollar Tree cotton candy. So you can see I've got my cotton candy here. I'm going to layer that up, and my kids are going to devour it. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed these 8 different Halloween candy ideas. I got bouquets, different giftables, and things you can do for a candy bar. I really appreciate you being here. I'll be back next week with another fun project to share with you. And until then, have a super crafty week. Bye.